Hello and welcome to Info Plus. The release of new census data has shed light on some significant changes in the Canadian population, revealing a country that is becoming increasingly diverse. Despite being the second largest nation in the world, much of Canada's land remains uninhabited due to its geography and environment. As you move further north, the terrain becomes less suitable for human habitation, and the majority of people live in larger cities located near Canada's only neighboring country, the United States. The most livable regions of Canada are situated from west to east, spanning a range of geographical features that include everything from sandy deserts to lush forests. With a length of 4,600 kilometers from north to south and 5,500 kilometers from east to west, Canada takes up more than half of the northern hemisphere. Its borders are defined by the Pacific, Atlantic, and Arctic Oceans, making its national motto a from sea to sea an apt description of its vast expanse. Canada has 6 time zones, including Pacific Time, Mountain Time, Central Time, Eastern Time, Atlantic Time, and Newfoundland Time, reflecting its large territory. The westernmost region of Canada, known as the West Coast, borders the Pacific Ocean and includes the province of British Columbia. Geographers refer to this region as the Cordillera, and it includes the Coastal Range Mountains, which define Canada's border with the Pacific. The Canadian part of the Rocky Mountains moves eastward away from the Pacific, defining the border between British Columbia and Alberta. These two ranges have played a significant role in shaping the world's perception of Canadian nature, with massive evergreen forests and a wide variety of fauna found in both. In between the two Pacific mountain ranges lies a tiny, warm, dry region known as the Okanagan, which offers a climate that is conducive to the growth of fruit and vegetables. This region is protected by the mountains and is home to some of Canada's largest orchards and wineries. The prairies, which comprise the provinces of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, lie beyond the rugged mountains and are characterized by wide open fields and flat, arable ground. Despite being one of the driest and least forested regions of the country, the prairies serve as the foundation for Canadian agriculture. The northern prairies are significantly hillier and more wooded than their southern counterparts, with 3 enormous lakes, Lake Manitoba, Lake Winnipesaukee, and Lake Winnipeg, dominating the province's central region. The area is bordered by lush flora, rivers, bogs, and swamps, offering a stark contrast to the desert-like regions of southeastern Alberta, which are famed for their rocky terrain and gravity-defying stone formations known as hoodoos. The 2 largest provinces of Canada, Ontario and Quebec, are located in central Canada, a vast geological formation known as the Canadian Shield. This formation gives much of the country its characteristic shape. The Laurentian region, also known as Central Canada, is mostly green, with rolling hills, grassy fields, and deciduous forests, but a barren and rocky north. The region is bordered by the enormous Hudson Bay to the north and 4 of the 5 Great Lakes to the south. Thousands of small lakes and rivers can be found all over Ontario and Quebec, with many surrounded by damp wetlands that are home to well-known Canadian wildlife such as beavers and moose. The Great Lakes St. Lawrence Lowlands area, a length of low elevation and productive farmland located along the shores of Lake Ontario and the enormous St. Lawrence River, is home to the majority of the region's human inhabitants. The eastern region of Canada, situated east of Quebec, is comprised of the 4 Atlantic provinces, Newfoundland, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and Nova Scotia, as well as the Appalachian region. The terrain of Atlantic Canada, often referred to as the Maritimes, is a mix of rocky coasts and forested interiors, shaped by its proximity to the ocean, with steep cliffs, high tides, and extensive coastal fjords, while the Appalachian mountain range reaches into some areas of northern New Brunswick and Newfoundland. Much of the interior is heavily forested and at low height. The small Atlantic provinces are densely populated, particularly when compared to other regions of Canada, with only Newfoundland having significant areas of completely deserted terrain. Labrador, a geographical entity located on the mountainous northeastern tip of Quebec, is home to the Torngat Mountains, Canada's tallest range east of the Rockies. Canada's north is a loosely defined region, with all provinces except for the Maritimes having dry, generally arid, and unpopulated northern regions that are vulnerable to long, chilly winters, significant snowfall, and permanently frozen soil. However, the term Canada's North typically refers to the vast northwest portion of Canada, which includes the 3 northernmost territories, Yukon, Nunavut, and the Northwest Territories. Nunavut and the Northwest Territories both have stony, barren terrain with minimal flora, while Yukon in the extreme west has a more forested, Cordillera-style environment. Canada's far north is an archipelago of enormous islands covered in icy tundra, large frozen glaciers, and towering mountains, with a very low human population and abundant wildlife. Canadians have a complex relationship with the weather with a mix of dissatisfaction and defensiveness. While Canada experiences some of the coldest winters in the world, most inhabited areas of Canada experience pleasant springs, mild autumns, and hot summers. In addition to the country's 4 distinct seasons, residents of Canada who reside close to the Atlantic or Pacific coast typically encounter little snow but lengthy periods of heavy rainfall during the fall and winter. With a generally humid, gloomy atmosphere, rainfall is less common on the dry prairies, but strong thunderstorms and tornadoes can be triggered by the dry air. The notoriously harsh and snowy winters of central Canada give way to rainy springtime and extremely hot, muggy summers. The most extreme weather polarization occurs in northern Canada, where summer days can last up to 24 hours straight and fall days are nearly perpetually dark. But there are still times when it's rather warm and green, at least where people dwell. While outsiders may generalize that Canada experiences extreme cold all year long, the reality is much more nuanced, with a range of weather patterns across the country. Canada is undeniably one of the wealthiest nations in the world, with abundant valuable natural resources that can be found in virtually every part of the country. This includes some of the greatest oil and natural gas deposits in North America, with the Prairie Province of Alberta being a major energy-producing superpower. In addition, Alberta is home to the world's largest proven oil sands or bitumen reserves, making Canada the second most oil-rich nation globally, behind only Saudi Arabia. Mineral deposits are also widespread throughout Canada, with each province and territory having their unique resource offerings. For instance, Saskatchewan is one of the largest producers of uranium and potash, while zinc is abundant across much of the country. Northern Ontario and Manitoba have significant deposits of nickel and copper, while the Atlantic region is known for its vast iron and coal resources. Coal can be found just about everywhere in the country, while diamonds are a major source of revenue in the Northern Territories. One controversial issue is Canada's continued production of the hazardous insulator asbestos, mainly mined in Quebec and exported to countries with lax public health and safety regulations. Canada is divided into 13 subnational units, with 10 provinces and 3 territories. The territories, once directly controlled by the federal government, now have self-governance, making them functionally equivalent to provinces. The combined area of these administrative divisions is larger than many independent countries, but with low population densities due to the sparsely inhabited northern regions. Despite being the second largest nation in the world, the majority of Canadians live within 160 kilometers of the United States border. This is primarily due to the challenging geography and environment of the northern regions, which makes them less suitable for human habitation. Overall, Canada's wealth of natural resources plays a significant role in its economy, making it an important global player in the energy and mineral industries. However, the production and export of hazardous materials, such as asbestos, remain contentious issues. Canada's vast territory is characterized by a range of geographical features, from the rocky coast of the Atlantic to the towering mountains of the west, and from the flat prairies to the forests of the north. The country's wealth of natural resources, including oil, gas, minerals, and timber, has made it an important global player in the energy and mineral industries. However, the production and export of hazardous materials, such as asbestos, continue to be contentious issues. Despite its challenges, Canada remains a prosperous and diverse nation, with a complex relationship with its weather and a population that is increasingly reflective of its diverse landscape.